Overcoming anxiety. Now, before we begin the video, we should really break anxiety down into two parts. You have rational anxiety and then you have irrational anxiety. Irrational anxiety is probably the form of anxiety that you want to overcome if you're watching this video. So the differences would be, so rational anxiety would be something like going to a pub on a Friday night. One of your friends comes over to you and says, hey, that massive guy over there in the corner, he's going to beat you up at the end of the night. That's probably going to put you in a state of anxiety because someone's coming to you with what could be quite a credible threat against you. It's going to put you into a state of anxiety, but that's totally rational. Irrational anxiety are things like a fear of leaving your house, a fear of speaking to women, just a fear of public speaking, things that aren't really going to harm you, but are still putting you into quite a state of panic or a state of anxiety. So fortunately for us, if you're watching this video, you're probably watching it more for irrational anxiety, because rational anxiety is just a part of human life. There's always going to be things in your life that are probably going to make you feel anxious, but for good reason. That's biologically, evolved into you. That's the fight or flight. That's the adrenaline response that's giving you that kind of jittery feeling. That's not really something that you actually really want to take away. Maybe you want to learn to control adrenaline, but that's like a longer process. Realistically, if you're watching this video, it's probably irrational anxiety. Now, irrational anxiety, in my opinion, is relatively easy to cure. It's just repetition, repetition, repetition. So I've said this in some of my previous videos. I used to be really, really bad at public speaking. I still don't consider myself the best, but even something like this, just like speaking to a camera, me knowing it's going to go on YouTube, onto the internet, would make me feel like really flustered. I would like stutter my words. I would start sweating. I would just generally be a bit of a mess. I've probably done about 400 uploads to YouTube in the last 3 years, I would guess. So through repetition, 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 I've kind of got to a point now that I can kind of turn a camera on. Sometimes I fluff my words and have to reshoot it, but by and large, I can just talk to a camera and I've got myself to a point that the anxiety doesn't really kick in. I can kind of focus a bit more clearly and talk about the things I want to talk about, such as this video. It was never like that. It was never always like that. If some of my original videos, I'd kind of speak for about like 10 seconds and I'd have to put an edit in, speak for 10 seconds, then put an edit in. I've kind of got to the point now where I don't really like editing my videos because there's a point of personal self-development. I want to be able just to talk. Sometimes I've got videos on my other channel that are just hour and a half long live streams of just jabbering away. And that's something I never could have done 3 years ago when I started YouTube. So the point I want to make to everybody is, the way you overcome irrational anxiety is just repetition, repetition. It's just starting off small. So if you had maybe a fear, or you weren't particularly good at public speaking, like I had, I'm still not the best public speaker. I hold my hands up and admit that, but it gets a little bit better each day, and that's just through repetition. It's just going out there, start making YouTube videos, start talking to a camera, put yourself in positions where you have to give presentations at work or speak to people in public, and just chip away at it. And if you have a fear of like talking to women, don't just go out on a Friday night and throw yourself right into the deep end, but when you're in Tesco or when you're in Waitrose or Costa, wherever, just speak to the woman that's serving you at the till, give her a compliment, and then that's an easy situation to withdraw from. You say, oh, your hair looks really nice today, and then you go. It's not going to be massively socially awkward, but you kind of build yourself up from there. Then maybe talk to women, just the odd compliment in the supermarket, then kind of try and build yourself up to talking just a 1 or 2 minute conversation with women, and then try and, after say 6 months, a year, try and build up to a 5 or 10 minute conversation. But it's just that slow repetition and building yourself up slowly. So my personal story was YouTube videos, just sort of had a little bit of, just having that little bit of courage to put yourself out there on the internet, probably embarrass yourself a little bit, but when you got a small channel, even such as this, 1,000 subscribers, not really that many people are going to end up watching the videos. But 5-10 second edits and build it up to a 1 minute video. Yourself up to eventually, after a year, talk for an hour on the camera. It's an easy thing to slowly chip away at. So if you have any thoughts and questions on this, let me know in the comments. But pretty much for most irrational anxiety fears, just chip away at it slowly. Honestly, it's the easiest way to do it. If you have fears such as leaving the house, which in previous videos I did on this channel, was doing Deliveroo and Uber riding. It amazed me how many people that just ordering takeaways to the house, have things like just a fear of leaving the house. I'm a bit of a people watcher. I like kind of analysing the way people are. And so many people seem to have like a lot of anxiety, even when you're doing just a basic Deliveroo or Uber drop to someone's house. Some of these people, unfortunately, are kind of like almost locked into their house. They have a fear of going out. You just need to like chip away at that, even if it's just opening the door, stepping outside, coming back in. Then a few days later, just walk to the end of the street, come back. Once your brain starts reprogramming itself, then nothing bad will happen. You know, nothing really bad happens with me putting these videos on YouTube. Nothing really bad will happen to you if you talk to women in the street, or men if it's the other way around, whatever. But just chip away at it. So that's just my advice. That's just irrational anxiety. And things like rational anxiety, so say in a situation like we said at the beginning, you're in a pub and someone wants to beat you up or kill you. Even that can be chipped away at through repetition. This is one of the things that the army does. This is the reason why they run drill after drill after drill of, say, like attacking the enemy. Obviously in a situation where, you know, it's a totally safe environment, they're using blank rounds, it's just a training exercise. But the army use repetition, repetition, repetition. So for the one day, if it happens for real and you have to attack an enemy position, say for instance, you've done this drill, you know, 500, maybe 1,000 times. It's just hardwired into your brain. But that's a little bit more difficult because you have to basically control the adrenaline response of an actual real-time fight or flight situation. But the army, the police, you know, emergency services prove that through repetition, you can actually fix these things. But irrational anxiety, just being scared of going out of the house, you know, scared of talking to women, public speaking like me, you know, it's just repetition. Chip away at it. Love to know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Comment below if this is something you suffer with, and how are you fixing it? Are you fixing it through repetition? Love to know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Thanks for watching the video. Thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you like it, and I'll see you in another one.